Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Non Sequitur Nerds. We are back. We're going to be doing a special two-part episode. We started talking last week about content delivery and media in general and how it's evolved over the years. So, to start things off, like always, I'm Tim, joined by Ian. How's it going, bud? Dude, I can't hear you. I can't. I swear to God, we checked audio before we started. I can't. 1 second. Oh, okay. Ian's going to try something. Hang on. This is one of the downsides of doing live recordings like this, is sometimes stuff like this happens. Yeah, no, I still can't hear you, Ian. For those of you watching our YouTube stream, you're getting a really great mime show from Ian right now. Butterfly or bird? I can't tell which one that is. Or Batman. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, you're going to try something else. All right. No, I still can't hear you, dude. We're off to a great start. You got to try something different, man. Okay, all right, 1 second, 1 second, okay. All right, he's getting up for something. Oh, okay, thanks, Ian, thanks. Okay, yeah. So Ian just fixed my computer, and for those of you watching the YouTube stream, you get a special treat tonight. Ian and I are actually recording together for the first time. I guess I don't need to wear my clamshells, huh?
Probably not.
So, all right. So, yeah. And for those of you listening, Ian and I are sitting right next to each other. For those of you watching the YouTube stream, we are live together. Ian came up and visited for the weekend. And, yeah, so there we are. So, how you doing, bud? Now that we can
Now that we can do this.
Exactly. That was the longest setup for a joke that won't pay off unless you're watching the video.
Exactly.
So.
We enjoy our shtick.
Oh, yeah, we do.
No, going pretty good. It's been a busy, crazy week.
Dude, yeah.
Lots of stuff to do, but really excited to be here. Obviously, see my brother from another mother.
Yep.
Who we call both of our parents.
Yeah, I was gonna say we both call our moms mom.
Right, exactly.
Well, you call my dad the guy that T-boned you, though.
Phrasing? Are we still doing phrasing?
No, we're not.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so we talked last time about content delivery. This time we're going to talk future of content delivery.
Yep.
So it's, there's obviously a lot to do with content delivery. There's a lot of, ways that you can get and stream your favorite UA Bowl movies.
Which, speaking of which, our counter now stands at 22. We're talking about that's the content that people want delivered is our UA Bowl counter.
Exactly.
23 now.
We have to have the counter.
Oh yeah. So those of you watching the video notice that it's up there now instead of in the middle. I had to move it so that we could both be in screen.
Yeah, so future content delivery, we talked a lot about, streaming services and things like that previously. Mm-hmm. So, we have, I think content delivery in the future is going to become kind of really vastly different than what we've seen before.
Over a little bit for you.
No, you're fine. Vastly different than what we've seen before. I mean, we're already getting into that time period where VR is becoming VR games. They're janky. Like they don't always work right.
Yeah, they don't always work right, but when they're done right, they're done really right. Good case in point. For VR game that I really enjoy is the Vader Immortal series, which is incredibly well done. I mean, really does a good job of lore building. So I mean, it is a game, but it's an interactive form of storytelling, an interactive form of multimedia, and I personally thought that was done really well. The newer Star Wars one for VR, which the name escapes me, but it's kind of a spin-off of the Galaxy's Edge area at Disney, where it's continuing that story of that area of Batuu. I haven't played much of that yet. I got it when it first came out and just haven't gotten around to it. It's been out for months now. But, pulling my chair.
Well,
I was completely out of camera. I didn't realize that. Thank you.
You're kind of out of camera because you kept leaning in one direction. So I was like, I'm going to try to be subtle about it.
But no, yeah, I agree. I can definitely see VR becoming I don't want to say valid form, because it already is a valid form, but a more prominent form of media delivery.
I mean, it is kind of a valid form. I mean, we talked about this last time. What industry was it that decided on the different formats?
The porn industry.
What industry uses VR right now to deliver content?
The porn. I mean, okay, admittedly, they have really, like after you talked about how the porn industry kind of decided media. I started looking into it a little bit more.
This is called in-depth research,
Like
folks.
legitimately research. All right, we do the hard work for you. All right.
I'm sure there was some hard work going on.
But like I started looking into it, and yeah, they were one of the first media groups to really pioneer delivering movies to VR. I mean, like, you know, there's 3D and VR movies you can watch for free on YouTube, but usually they're, how do I want to put this? They're stationary VR, and by that I mean a VR game you can move around in the world on an X, Y, and Z axis. The VR on YouTube, or at least from what I've seen, there may be ones that are more in depth. You can turn and you can look up and down, but if you move in space, you don't move in space in that video because it's a pre-recorded movie. So I mean, at least with the technology we have now anyway, I don't see, booting up the Avengers on my VR headset and walking to see what the backside of Thor's hammer looks like in that particular scene, as an example. But I mean, I could see something like that being plausible, but I don't think it's going to be mainstream anytime soon. But again, we're talking about the future here.
Right. I mean, it's gonna require some pretty big changes to the way that they do filming. It's going to be easier obviously for animated or 3D.
Oh yeah,
3D rendered stuff.
Oh yeah, for like CG stuff, that'd be because there's no physical cameraman on site. It would be a lot easier to.
Well, yeah, and when you make
position
models,
a camera here and here in a 3D space,
right,
without actually having the camera.
And
there.
when you make a 3D model, you don't just model the front side of it. Like you have to model the entirety of the thing because you don't know what kind of shots you're going to need.
That's
so
true.
You want to model everything. So you're going to see there's much bigger opportunity there.
Oh, absolutely.
To see, these kind of VR. Media delivery in VR, and we're talking about games, movies, TV shows, those kind of things, like really being in depth.
And that'd be really neat, like a CG like action film,
right?
Like just being able to see an explosion from one angle, but being able to pause the movie on your VR headset and pivot around to see that explosion from a different angle. Like that alone, there'd be so many scenes that I would pause on movies just to check out, okay, well, what does this action shot look from here, or just look at details, actually be able to walk up closer to stuff. That'd be really cool, actually.
And
you got me thinking now.
I don't know if you saw the movie, but it came out several years ago, and I can't remember what it's called. Or not what it's called, but I can't remember when. Hardcore Henry. Did you ever?
I watched a clip of it, and it actually I don't get motion sick playing VR, but watching that it disoriented me. Just watching a clip of it, so I never saw it. I heard really good things about it, though.
Yeah, I saw the complete movie.
Okay.
It was enjoyable. It's obviously not high cinema. It's not The Godfather or anything like that.
Who directed that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say if it's our boy.
No, because it was actually decent production.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But I mean, Hardcore Henry is shot entirely in the first person, basically just strapping GoPros to a dude.
Yeah.
And he's doing stunts and chasing people. So you've got the head bob.
A lot of it was single takes too, from what I remember reading. Yeah, which I mean is impressive to begin with.
Parkouring off of buildings and crap like that. So, I could definitely see a movie delivered in that, especially in VR and things like that.
Yeah.
That would be, really immersive, especially if you get some kind of surround sound audio type.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, 3D spatial audio. I mean, especially in the last couple of years, has come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I were talking a while back about the audio quality on our headsets for our gaming for our systems and whatnot, and just how much better it sounds now, even versus a generation of consoles ago.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
it's come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got Dolby Atmos and 7 point. Actually, I think they're at 9.1 surround now.
At what point is it too much surround? Well, I mean, because most theaters are still running only 7.1, aren't they?
I think so.
Man, that's nuts, though.
But I mean, you also have the things like the DHX chairs or whatever they are.
Oh, the Rumble chairs.
Yeah, the
those are cool though.
Chair.
Have you ever tried one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, those are cool.
I did one. I don't think I did it for the right movie. I can't remember what. No, I think I did it. I the first time I saw Infinity War. I did it. I did it in one of those. And it was actually
cool.
That was actually really cool. Yeah.
Now that would be cool. During when the snap happens. Which spoilers if you don't know what the snap is at this point, go watch a Marvel movie. But Like that'd be cool. Is it just either like intense or off, or is it there like grades to it? The ones
There's
you took?
grades to it.
Okay, because the
So-
ones that I was in, like, I don't know if my chair was just broken, but it was either full throttle or off, which was still cool. Like during explosions, to get like the, bleh.
Yeah.
But that's the technical term is. Bleh.
Blah, blah, blah.
But so it's supposed to give you varying degrees.
Yeah, and you know, mine, it wasn't just rumble. At least the one that I was in, because
Yeah.
it had like some almost like
Really?
like 3-dimensional motion aspects
Got
to
blurry
it.
there. We're censored now. Hang on, what's going on with my camera?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. But yeah, the one I think my chair might have been busted then because it had
Okay.
it had just like
nothing.
PS1 controller vibration was either on or off.
Right. Or when your Xbox controller just randomly decided it wanted to get stuck in vibration mode for like
Yeah,
5 minutes
yeah.
and kill the battery.
I don't know what was going on there.
Anyway, so
But yeah, like it's I definitely see. I mean, you kind of touched on it. I definitely see more immersiveness being the way that movies are going. Just because, I mean, for me anyway, that seems like the next logical progression. I mean, because we talked about this in the last episode of video quality. You're going to get to a point where it doesn't matter how much pixel density your image has in it. It's only going to get to a point where the human eye can't physically see more clarity than what it's capable of.
Right.
Like, I mean, you have glasses, I have contacts. We're already right there limited on how well we can see.
Well, that was why I hated. I mean, if you remember the 3D movie fad from back in the early aughts.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the first 3D movie that we saw together was you, me, and Kevin. We went and saw Beowulf.
Oh yes, we did.
And they gave us 3D glasses. I wound up getting a freaking migraine because they were the hard. They weren't just like the paper 3D.
Yeah.
Like they were hard plastic 3D glasses.
and they didn't fit over your glasses.
Right, and I had to wear them like smashed against my head.
I remember.
And I'm like, this movie's okay, but my brain is going to explode out of my ears soon.
All 5 Angelina Jolies I can see on the TV on the screen look really great, but
Right,
my head hurts.
Right, exactly. And it's so like that soured 3D movies for me
Yeah.
ever since. And
I remember,
I've
you
not-
had a bad experience with that.
I've actually not gone and seen 3D movies since then.
See, I mean, this last year is kind of the exception with everything, but like I will, depending on the movie, will sometimes see it in 3D. Typically, I'll just watch the standard 2D version.
Yeah.
I actually bought into the at-home 3D fad, and I had an at-home 3D TV for a while, and the at-home 3D is a little different because, like, when you're in a theater, you're wearing the glasses and you're literally looking at an image on the screen that is literally 2 images overlaid, and those glasses will filter the left and right to make your brain think it's 3D. The at-home 3D, you actually had the glasses were battery powered. They had active shutters that would literally blink on the glasses. So if you looked at the TV, the picture looked fuzzy, but you didn't really see it duplicated a whole lot. So the TV would send out a signal when you're watching a 3D movie to tell which lens to literally darken or turn on to give you, in my opinion, a better 3D experience than the theaters. Only problem was the 3D movies were considerably a bit more expensive, and if your batteries died on your lenses, they weren't rechargeable. At least the kit I had anyway wasn't rechargeable. I had to put button cell batteries in it.
Ugh.
Which, I mean, they're not really draining a whole lot of power because literally it just lit up, or darkened a screen by lighting up all the pixels on it. But you can't see it. It's happening so fast that your eyes can't perceive it happening. You just perceive a 3D image. I mean, it was neat, but at the end of the day, like, when I first got the TV, like, everything I bought was 3D. Then, maybe every other movie, and then it got to the point where I didn't even bother turning on the 3D. It wasn't worth it for me anymore. So...
Yeah, so, VR, I think, is probably going to be one of the next steps of content delivery.
I agree.
But I think we also can't discount AR, augmented reality content delivery. If you look at technologies out there, such as Microsoft's HoloLens, I mean, it's...
Have they announced anything on that in a while?
I mean, they showcased it, I think, 2019.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a little while.
CES or something
I think
like
so,
that.
yeah. Or maybe at one of their own shows. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's been a little while.
And then, I mean, coronavirus happened, and everything kind of went to pot. And,
Yeah.
No, so, but I mean, what they did show with Hololens was really cool because
Yeah.
you could have like full immersive, 3D,
Whatever.
cityscapes, landscapes,
Yeah.
whatever. Video. I mean, they played
Well, I mean,
Minecraft.
Yeah, they played. Well, they played Minecraft on like the thing. One of the things they showed off. I remember that trade show that kind of looked interesting to me. Was they showed a team designing a motorcycle, I believe it was, and they showed it like on their screen, in 3D rendering software, and they were doing it, and then you literally see one of the guys like click a button on his HoloLens, looks at the screen, and literally like Tony Stark, Iron Man style, grabs it and drops down a full size 3D rendered model. Everybody else turns on their HoloLenses, and they're seeing like around this generated model sitting in the middle of their floor in real time.
Yep.
And like they were making edits to it and whatnot. And, I mean, it was very Iron Man to me.
Yeah. No.
It looked really cool.
Yeah, and that's literally a scene from the first Iron Man is where Tony's designing the gauntlet, and then he like takes the 3D render and puts it on
Yep.
his arm.
Dunks
and
his hand into it.
Yeah,
Yep.
dunks his hand
Yep.
in it, and then he's like adjusting things
Yeah.
on it. So AR is going to be really cool. I think it's probably the practical.
It just needs more of an adoption.
Right, and the practical nature is probably more going to be for those engineering type things and
Right.
things like that. But I can still see content delivery being done through
Oh, yeah.
AR. I mean, think of like Pokemon Go done in AR, like where
Well, I mean, they have it, but if it was,
but it
in an
requires you
actual-
to sit there to go like this to do AR mode. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like having like glasses or some kind of lenses of some
Right, and
type.
being able to, without holding your phone, looking through a screen, look up and see your Charizard sitting there, walking around it while it's looking at you, and actually you're able to reach out and interact with it.
Right.
Because like with AR, I mean, it not only tracks where the 3D objects are, it also kind of quasi-scans the environment around you to know how far you are moving. If you reach a hand out, it knows that that's your hand. I mean, even VR goggles. Like I have a Oculus Rift. I really like it. That's my VR of choice because it's portable, but I can also hook it up to my computer, play my VR games there. But anyway, even that has hand tracking on it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that wasn't built into it when it started, but through software updates they have it. So on all the menus for it, and even some of the games, I can not even use the controllers. I can just reach out, and it will track my hands, like my individual finger movements.
Yep.
And I mean, that's on tech now. That's already, like, I have a first gen Rift, so I mean, that's been out for a couple years now. So I mean, even on not new tech, they're still able to do that level of immersion. And that headset doesn't need any tracking nodules on a wall. It tracks itself without the need for any additional equipment. So I could literally walk outside in the yard, turn it on, and be able to play it, or I could walk here into my office, play it in here.
Right, and there's definitely advancements in technology and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that these days. And one of the things is like obviously being able to track your eyes, so you can have. I mean, that's how they do like AR, like menus in AR systems and stuff
Yep.
like that. I believe I remember a few years ago there was a guy that played World of Warcraft. Like he was paraplegic, but he played World of Warcraft with like an AR, like eye tracking. Like
Really?
he would literally just like look at the things on the screen, and the system would like. Your action bars on the bottom, and you just glance down at the action bar to hit
That's
the buttons
really cool,
and things
actually.
like that.
That's really
to be
cool.
able to control his character. And then, there's another story. There was actually a blind guy that played World of Warcraft.
How?
Audio cues. Audio cues, and he
Oh.
would he was very good. Like he played a tank, and he was one of the best tanks.
Really?
He was one of the best tanks on his server.
That's really cool.
But yeah, he had, it would read back. There would be audio cues, and it would
Yeah.
have speech to text to speech that would
Yeah.
read messages and things like that.
That's really cool, actually.
So there's huge advancements in technology and things like that. And if you look at DARPA, the DARPA dogs.
Right,
They did that video recently of the choreographed DARPA dogs doing the dance or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
really freaky.
I mean, like, on one hand, I'm ready for robotic dogs, but on the other hand, I've seen Terminator. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for robots to be running stuff yet.
Yeah, no, thank you. The last thing that I think we need, especially with all of the technology and everything is a microchip these days. I think the last thing that we need is the virus to hit the local sex shop, and it's it's Revenge of the Butt Plugs or
Oh my
something
god.
like that.
Okay, so non sequitur
I
here.
don't know where you're going with this.
No,
and
no,
that
no,
terrifies
it's-
me.
There are actually internet-enabled sex toys.
Oh, I know.
I think actually you might have told me about it. Now that I think about it,
I think so.
They're USB. You know what? I don't think we need to get into the details of it. But yeah, if a computer virus hit something like that, and the AI just decided, yeah, I'm gonna really f your day up. It could literally.
I just think of the one of the opening scenes from Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh God.
I just think of that, and I just think of that turning into a horror movie.
Oh my God.
If you've not seen the scene, folks,
You
can YouTube
It's
it.
not a kid-friendly movie.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
No, it's not. No, it's
Oh,
not.
my God.
Anyway, so yeah, VR, AR. I think those are both near-term technologies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Where I think where we're gonna go next, as far as content or the
Beyond.
horizon. That was kind of a weird thing. We didn't choreograph that, but it worked. Where we're gonna go next, as far as that goes, and the horizon is going to be full dive technology. And I'm
Which
talking.
I know you're a big fan of that kind of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, there's something to be said about being able to play like an MMO or a video game, like a fantasy game, like Skyrim and that kind of stuff. And yeah, you can play Skyrim in VR and things like that. But
It's not great in my opinion. The
right,
VR
but, I
Skyrim.
mean, there's something to be said about that's really cool. But like being able to actually immerse yourself fully into one of these worlds. With hopefully no consequences.
Yeah, we don't want to dot hack or sword art it.
Right, we don't want to dot hack, sword art, Excel saga,
no.
multitudes of other like trapped in a video game type Overlord.
Overlord.
Log Horizon.
So fun fact: when I first heard about the Overlord anime, I thought it was based on that game
that-
Overlord, and I'm like, oh cool, they're making an anime on that. What the hell is this? This isn't Overlord.
No, but Overlord's actually one of my favorites.
Yeah,
you've
talked about it
I've
quite a bit.
really enjoyed it because it kind of takes like the whole isekai genre and turns it on its head type thing.
Right.
Like Rising of a Shield Hero kind of did that. Rising of a Shield Hero kind of did that, where it was like, hey, what happens if you get summoned to another world, but then everybody treats you like crap?
Yeah, like you've recommended that one to me so many times, and I'll be honest, I have not gotten around to watching it
Yeah,
yet.
that's fine.
But like, I like that genre. I keep forgetting to do it. I'll be honest.
And then Overlord's, stuck in another world, but I'm gonna conquer this bitch.
Which I mean, yeah, because like typically most
And
isekais,
he's not a knight. Like he and his cronies are not nice people.
well, because like most isekai are, I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to do awesome things, and yeah, that's just I'm gonna run this shit.
There's another isekai coming out, I think soon-ish, or at least maybe there was a manga of it or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but there might have been a manga, or there might be an upcoming anime or something like that. I think maybe it's something to do with Hero, but basically it might be a manga actually.
Okay.
It deals with the aftermath of being isekai'd. So like people go to the other world, they complete their grand quest, and they come back to this world. And how do they deal with the aftermath of that? Because in this world they have no powers.
Oh, right. How do you go from being powerless to being all powerful back to being powerless again?
Right.
They
Come back and they go to being like powerless, and in some cases like time has passed normally, so it's like 6 months that this person has been gone. So like family have thought they're dead. Like I think they talk about like one guy is like, he's getting investigated for like tax evasion or something like that.
Oops.
But part of the story then is like these people somehow manage to gain back some of their power and then basically start conquering the world.
That's kind of okay. That's a cool.
So they go from like the heroes to the villains because they get just treated like shit when they come back.
Right.
My French.
And then they get their powers back.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But then one of the people that comes back, who they treat like crap. Then also gets powers, and he starts going on a crusade. Like they killed his family or something like that.
Okay.
And then like he gets powers, and then starts basically going on a crusade to kill them. Like it's like a complete like mishmash of different genres. But it was really interesting to me. So
if you can find out what that is, let me know, because that's another one that I'll tell you I'm going to watch and never get around to.
Right,
sure,
exactly.
For sure.
I think it's called like Hero's Burden or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd have to go and look it up. But anyway, so full dive technology. Being able to like immerse yourself into these worlds. So we're talking like video games, talking movies, TV shows, those kind of things. Those are also potentials for content delivery. But we're talking about fully interactive experiences.
Right.
We're nowhere near that technology
Yeah.
yet. I mean, obviously, what's his name? Elon Musk has Neuralink. You know, where
It's
they
his
hooked it up.
brain computer.
Right, they hooked it up to a pig or whatever like that.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did actually.
Oh, okay. Because like I legit haven't really looked into. I know it's a thing, but I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what they did, but it did work when they hooked it up to the pig. But
Did they give it pig porn?
probably. Actually, I
That's a phrase I never thought I'd say.
I read an interesting fact today actually that if the human brain were a computer,
Okay.
it would be able to store 3,500 terabytes of information, and it could process over I think it was like 3.8 million processes per second or something like that.
Dude, I
Like,
can't remember where I put my keys sometimes.
well, I mean, not everybody's human computer is made the same.
I need to upgrade my RAM.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential for like VR and like full dive tech. Sorry, I'm gonna jump back a little bit. Full dive tech that you can kind of really experience that, and it's always been something that's been interesting to me. I'd love to be able to just go and
plug into a game, not have to worry about a controller, and
Right.
just being able to control everything effectively with your thoughts.
right, exactly.
I mean, yeah, like I would be, depending on how it's implemented, could be really cool.
Well, yeah, we don't want to we don't want to SAO ourselves. but,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously there has to be some safeguards and
Yeah.
things like
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
But no, I think those are some legitimate mechanisms for future content delivery, and I think that's really those being on the horizon. I think are really cool. It's really fun to dream about because I think they're really truly possible, especially as we start moving into more quantum computing.
Yeah, that's come leaps and bounds in the last several years. I mean,
Yeah, I mean the issue I think with quantum computing at this point is cost prohibitive. It's just it's expensive to make to be able to do that. But as we have seen with other technologies,
somebody's going to figure out, oh, hey, what if we did this thing? It works. Cool. That's like a third the cost of this thing.
right? Exactly. They're going to start finding cheaper and cheaper ways to do it. I mean, look at 20 years ago, like my first computer, I think the hard drive was 500 meg.
Yeah, I mean, and that was big.
Yeah, that was
big.
a beast of a hard drive. I think,
Yeah.
and then I think I got an upgraded drive. Like I upgraded to like a gig drive, and
Like-
that cost me like $120.
I remember getting like my first 20 gig drive, which I mean, that I thought like I will never fill up 20 gigs, and I'm pretty sure I can go onto my Steam library and find 50 games that are easily more than 20 gigs each.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Like it's almost. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption 2. It's 120 gigs.
That sounds about right.
But I mean, the cost of technology is going down. I mean, even the newer technology like solid state drives, which were really expensive
Yeah.
before. Now there's like PCIe drives, which were really expensive, which are just
starting to drop.
I mean, they were a few $100 at this
Yeah.
point.
But I mean, the performance you get out of them versus anything else is noticeable.
yeah, and there's just so much technological advancement these days.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
yeah, so content delivery, we want to kind of come back to more now times, though. We were talking about earlier, where we're at, and depending on when you're watching this, Black Widow just came out, and we were talking about, and this has been actually fairly frequent throughout the pandemic and lockdown and things like that, but Black Widow just came out. You can go and see it in theaters.
Yep.
Movie theaters have opened back up now. For those of you watching in the future, trying to use this as a history lesson. If you're using this as a history lesson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, we apologize for the last couple of years.
Right, exactly.
Well, we're not personally responsible, but we apologize for it.
Right. So movie theaters back open. You can go in a movie theater, or you can purchase. It's on Disney Plus. You can purchase the movie or the access to the movie through streaming.
Yep.
Not necessarily streaming, but through like premium access. I think is what it's
Yeah,
called.
that's what they. Where effectively you're effectively paying for the movie a little bit more than what you'd pay to buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray or whatnot, but you can watch it right now, or you can go to the theater. We're actually this weekend. We're making a weekend of this. Are going to be watching Black Widow this weekend.
Yeah.
It's one that like I'm excited to see, you know, Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett
I'm just gonna leave this.
Johansson.
That's the end of the sentence. I'm excited to see Scarlett Johansson. But no, I'm excited to see, you know, her last portrayal as Black Widow. She has been one of my favorite characters in the MCU. And it's going to be nice to get a little bit more of her backstory and flesh out her. It's sad that they're fleshing out her character on her send off film, but you know, yeah. But it's Scarlett Johansson. I mean,
Right.
it's Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and she's been a staple.
She's a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, she is, and she's been a staple. You know, very aware of who she is. You know, has appeared on Robot Chicken several times.
Yes, she
also,
has, she has.
also for those of you who may or may not remember, when she was in her teenage years, appearing on a fantastic movie called Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
man, I'd forgotten about that.
David Arquette, David Arquette movie about giant mutant spiders.
Man, yeah, that's a movie I haven't thought about in a long time, man. Let me tell you.
I watched I picked it up and watched it several years ago.
Yeah.
Again, and I mean I just had to laugh. It was just
That's-
it's so tongue in cheek.
Well,
It's one of those movies
just hokey movies. Like you don't go into it expecting, you know, a Citizen Kane,
Right.
you know, or anything like that.
Well, it also
you know what you're getting at.
Yeah, it also it knows who it is. It has to know who it is
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh,
of
yeah.
just how cheesy and hokey it. Like it's a B horror movie
Yeah,
that knows it's a B horror movie and doesn't try to be anything more
Exactly.
than a B horror movie. But yes, it starred our favorite Russian redhead, Black Widow in her youth, Scarlett
Yeah, I
Johansson.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back to, like, you know, like Ian said, you know, we could go to the theater right now and watch it if we wanted to. I mean, well, depending, there's probably actually still theaters doing late night showings of that, because it's the first Marvel cinematic movie we've gotten in a long time now.
Well, the first one that's definitely come out to no, I think it actually is really the first one since
First-
Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because the pandemic happened. I mean, they've been filling in with the TV shows, WandaVision, Loki. Yeah, I know I'm behind on Loki. Shut up.
I want to. Okay, I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers, but I want to gush to him about Loki so much, and he hasn't had the time to watch
busy.
it. And it's you're tearing me apart inside.
I know. I'm like that scene from Not Another Teen Movie and tearing him apart inside.
Oh. But I mean, but yeah, like, you know, or we can, on release day, from the comfort of our own homes, pay a fee, watch the movie, have unlimited snacks. I mean, all in all, it is going to be cheaper than us going to the theater, getting snacks, getting a soda or whatever. A soda. But like you and I kind of touched on this in an earlier episode. We're losing out on that experience of the theater, but we have the convenience of watching it now.
Oh, sure.
Without having to go anywhere, without having to, you know, again, you know, I don't want to politicize anything. We're both fully vaccinated, so we could go out and, in relative safety, watch the movie in a theater.
Yeah.
Or we can just stay here and chill on my couch. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. We'll run down the street, get a bunch of snacks, come back.
Exactly.
You know, I barely have to wear pants.
Pants are optional around here, all
I mean,
right?
joke's on you. I'm not wearing pants now.
I mean, that's why I shoot from the waist up every weekend. Just saying.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the on day one delivery has been fantastic for the pandemic because it allows
Yeah.
creators to still get their stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Tim and I hung out at Christmas time last year. That was actually when we dreamed up this
Yeah, it is
magnificent
actually.
doll of awesomeness that is this podcast. But it was Christmas time 2020.
Yep.
We watched
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman 1984 day
Yep.
one because they released it on HBO Max.
Yep. And see, and that one was you just had to have an HBO Max subscription. It was
Yep.
included. Disney, with their Disney Plus, like they're catching a little bit of flack on, well, you're putting these movies out there, but we have to pay on the subscription service that we already pay for. And I can kind of see why Disney is doing it, because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to just stay home and watch it.
Yeah.
Is Black Widow a movie that I think is going to draw in a substantial number of subscribers that will offset the cost of people staying home? Probably not. I mean, I'm going to be realistic. Probably not.
Yeah.
Are there going to be a lot of people that watch it though? Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and
So
again,
I see why they like Disney chose to offer it at that fee, and I think it's what is it, a month or two after it's out. It's just part of Disney Plus then.
Yeah.
Because another one, Luca.
Yep.
Luca was a paid one.
Yep. My kids watched that recently. They love it. I haven't watched it yet.
I actually I turned it on because I didn't really know about the film, and it's free. It's included with
Yeah.
Disney Plus, since it's past that period. And I'm like, oh, I'll just turn this on for something to fall asleep to. Long story short, I was up till 2:30 in the morning because it was a really good movie. I mean, I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah. My kids also watched Raya and the Last Dragon,
Which is another really fantastic. Like Disney seems to have just been churning out really solid films, even with everything going on. So I mean, kudos to Disney.
Luca's a Pixar movie, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, yes,
it's
Pixar
good-
Pixar
good
is
film.
owned by Disney, but they're still technically, I think, an independent
I
studio. They
think
still
so.
do their own thing. It's just released under, like, Disney owns them. It's released under Disney.
Yep.
But it's still a Pixar movie. And then Disney Animation did obviously they did Frozen.
Yes.
They did Frozen 2, which
Yep.
not as good as Frozen 1. If I
So
was
it's still good. It was good world
still
building,
decent.
but wasn't as good. It didn't it. I don't want to say it lacked heart, but it kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, it did give us that fantastic "Into the Woods" song, which was basically like tune-wise was a copy of that Boston song. You'll have to check it out on YouTube.
Stop. Oh wait, yeah, we
No,
can.
no.
No, we don't want to get copyright
Yeah,
stricken.
no.
Never mind.
No. You can check it out on YouTube later.
Yep.
Anyway, and Disney's been really putting out a lot of, I think, really quality. Like
Quality.
They had their slump for a long time.
Yeah, they really did. Well, I mean, like we had the, I think it was in like the 90s, kind of that renaissance of Disney, which I mean, you and I have talked about before, where literally pick a Disney animated film in the 90s that was bad. Please, go ahead, give me one. Exactly.
I mean, we had Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules.
I'm trying to think of the other ones that we had there. There were a bunch of just like really good.
really like solid. And then they kind of
They kind of petered off
Yeah.
because you have. I think there were some movies in there that caught flack, but they were really good. I really liked Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
See, yeah, like you've talked about that one before. That is kind of one of your go-tos. The missus and I were actually we saw a thing online the other night where it was 90s cartoons that weren't Disney that were really good. And I mean, they had things like Rockadoodle,
Yeah.
All Dogs Go to Heaven,
The Don Bluth
yeah,
staples.
exactly, Fievel. Let's see, Land Before Time. I mean,
Don
like,
Bluth.
yeah,
I mean, literally
it's
named
the
all Don Bluth
films. I'm trying. Secret of Nim, was that a Don Bluth film?
Yes, it was.
Dang it, okay, so Don Bluth. But I mean, they were all films that like we had forgotten about Rockadoodle. I have a VHS of it somewhere. Like, we need to find this on DVD or Blu-ray because that was a legitimately good movie.
Oh yeah.
All the Don Bluths were. But anyway, yeah, getting back to Disney, it seems like lately they've kind of, apart from their Marvel stuff, which, you know, we kind of touched on this going back to the Black Widow thing. I mean, we've had a bunch of Disney Plus series. You know, again, WandaVision, Falcon and the Soldier, or like Birdman and the Winter Dude.
Right.
And then, you know, with
Birdman.
dude, I want to see those two team up with Birdman.
Birdman, get in there. Falcon, over here.
That'd be awesome. And then, you know, most recently with Loki.
Right.
So, I mean, their Marvel side, I mean, Disney, say what you will about Disney acquiring Marvel. They know what they're doing at this point.
I think Disney knew what they were doing, and they continue to know what they're doing because basically it seems like they're allowing Kevin Feige creative control over stuff.
Smart.
They're basically just throwing money at Marvel and going, keep making us billions.
Now they just need to do the same thing with Dave Filoni. Just let him
Filoni
him do it.
Like Dave Filoni and Jean Favreau.
Yeah,
And
dude,
there's been rumor, and at the time of this taping, there's rumors that Kathleen Kennedy, who's the current executive of Lucasfilm, is going to be on her contract ends in October, I believe. There's rumor that she's not going to renew, and there's rumor that Jean Favreau may take over.
Good. Him or Filoni, either one of those two, put them in charge.
Yeah, I think they're a powerhouse team.
Yes,
They treat
absolutely.
the material very well, and
Well, they're fans of it.
right?
I mean,
and Favreau has done a lot of good for Disney.
Yes,
he did
he
the
has.
Jungle Book, which made a lot of money.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah, he did The Lion King, which wasn't as successful as
But
Jungle
was
Book, but it still
successful.
made.
It was. like the only complaint I had with Jungle Book, like or not Jungle Book, Lion King, and I understand why they did the casting the way they did. Jeremy Irons, just saying,
Yeah.
should have been like I can't not. It was Jeremy Irons.
Yeah,
right?
it was
Okay,
Jeremy
yeah.
Irons.
I can't not hear him when I see Scar or when I think of Scar, but I understand why they redid the casting for the. Can you even call it live action?
CG.
It's this, yeah, I mean the air quote live action Lion King. I understand why they did it.
Right.
Um,
The Jungle Book was live action because it had an actual kid actor as Mowgli.
see,
which
I didn't
fun
actually
trivia
see
for
that
you.
one. Oh,
The snake or Kaa in The Jungle Book was voiced by Scarlett Johansson.
we're coming full circle with ScarJo here. All right.
Yeah, ScarJo actually does a lot of work with Jon Favreau. She's in a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, she really is, isn't she?
Yeah, and she's partnered with him a lot, and they have a good relationship. Anyway,
Oh yeah, but
so yeah, Disney.
you know that explains that scene in Iron Man. Was it 2?
I think so.
Yeah, where unknown to us Black Widow and Happy are boxing. Like it seemed like they had a good repertoire. Like that
Yeah.
scene kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah, so
That's cool, though.
Disney's done a lot of really good content, and maybe for a future episode we'll talk about underrated movies
Oh, absolutely. I
from
think
our
we should.
childhood and things like that.
I think we
so
should.
we can talk about some of those movies that we hadn't mentioned yet today,
Yep.
and some that we have. So the instant delivery. HBO Max has been doing that with a lot of the Warner, AT&T,
Well,
Warner
like,
owned stuff. Mortal Kombat.
Godzilla vs Kong.
Yeah.
Did you see Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
we?
we talked about
we
it.
did. And you told me not to spoil it when because it was an episode we had Keenan on actually.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
And then
he
actually-
he wanted to watch it right afterwards.
Yes, and that's literally what happened. We finished recording, and then I started playing video games. My brother came to my office where I have a TV, and he watched.
I think it was
Mortal Kombat.
our Star Wars episode actually.
think it might have been.
I think so. Yeah. And then I'm sitting there talking about Mortal Kombat, and Ian's like, dude, Keenan hasn't seen it. And he's watching it right back there. Finish him, yeah. But,
So instant delivery has been really fantastic, obviously,
Yeah.
since everybody's in the pandemic, and I think it's paid off in spades for Hollywood.
well, you saw though that HBO Max announced that I think starting next year, the Warner films will not be coming day and date to HBO Max anymore. Which, I understand, these plans to get it day and date were probably made, in the heart of the worst of the pandemic, where no end was in sight. So they probably started, planning these things, and now they're seeing that we're slowly getting in the right direction. They're trying to plan ahead again.
Right. I think that the fundamental difference between Disney and HBO, though, is that HBO does, day one on our streaming services
Right.
and also in theaters for a limited time.
Yeah, that's true.
Mortal Kombat will go off of HBO Max after I think it was like 2 months or something.
I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah,
they-
which would probably be about now. Thinking
Yeah,
about
I think
it, yeah.
so. So it'll come. Yeah, it comes off the streaming service after a couple months. Disney obviously does the pay for it day one, and then after a period of time will
It's
make
free.
it part of the
Right.
service. And then you have Amazon, who is offering. A lot of times they offer movies that are released that day in theaters. You can pay what is effectively a movie theater ticket price and watch it through Amazon Prime.
And then now, I haven't done that yet through Prime. Do you then just own that movie, or is it like a single time?
It's a single time rental.
Okay, so it's like buying a movie ticket.
Yeah,
Okay.
it really is like buying a movie ticket. And through Prime, Prime obviously does a lot of their things where it's like you can rent a movie through Prime. So
Right.
you get access to it for I think like 24 hours.
Yeah, I
or
think so. Yeah.
24 hours or like X number of plays. I can't remember. I think it's time boxed. I think it's 24
I
hours.
want to say with Amazon it's time box.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's time boxed. So you can either pay for standard def or high def, and
Right.
then you have
And
access
the
to that
cost
for-
difference. I mean, you're talking a buck or two.
Yeah, it's like it's like a $2.99
Yeah.
for standard def and $4.99 for high def.
Yeah, which I mean, if you've got the internet connection and the visual equipment to go with the high def, it's worth the $2. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching it on like a 280p monitor, then or an old tube TV, probably. Well, one, I would question how you even have access to Amazon Prime.
It's one of those TVs where the remote was actually hardwired. To
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
My-
it's not even like the button remote. It's the one that had the dial on it.
I think I might be wrong, but I think it was my granddad on my dad's side had one of those downstairs at his house. I think. I remember somebody in my family had one of those, and to me that was just the most novel thing of what kind of what is with this remote? You know, it just the idea that remotes weren't always remote
Right.
just blew my mind. You
Well,
know?
I mean, when I grew up, our first TVs didn't have a remote, so it was always
At all?
No, not the first TVs that I had.
Wow.
My
Wow.
no, my so it was.
We love you, Owen Wilson.
It was always my dad going, Ian, get up and change channel, and that was also when we had like 3 channels. So
See, I don't think I've ever had a TV in my life that didn't. I mean, I've had TVs where I've lost the remote, but it still had the capability of having one. I don't think I've ever had a TV that didn't have a remote.
right. Well, my children are also fantastic at losing remotes.
See, okay.
I still find them, but
My daughter is the opposite. She knows where I put things that I lost. If I lose something, like I can't find my keys, I'll look at my daughter. Where are my keys? Oh, okay. Found them. Where were they? Oh, they were in the bathroom. I haven't been in there today.
you sure she's not a bloodhound, and or she's the one that's actually taking the stuff and putting it in places?
It's highly possible that my daughter may be some kind of goblin and is hoarding these treasures away. It is entirely possible.
Precious.
It is entirely possible. It is within the realm of possibility.
cheeses?
Stupid fat daddy. He doesn't have his cheeses. But yeah, it's neat that, you know, like we did it with Wonder Woman. You know, we're going to be doing it here with Black Widow. We both have watched, you know, I haven't seen Mulan, but Mortal Kombat, Godzilla vs. Kong, a lot of movies that either were before theaters were open at full capacity, before our vaccinations, things like that, that otherwise, had I not had the ability to watch some of these films on release day, by the time I would have been able to watch them, I probably would have forgotten about them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or I would have seen the spoilers for it, or you know, whatever have you, and just probably never have seen that film.
Right.
So I mean, it's been nice that, especially with everything going on, that option to still see that film, you know, when it's new, when it's fresh, when it's the happening thing that everybody wants to know about and talk about, is nice. Because while we, you know, you and I talked about it in the prior episode where, you know, that experience of leaving the movie and going, oh, dude, you know, do you remember that scene? Or what did you think of this? What about the special effects in this? Or vice versa, dude. Okay, that movie sucked. Let's talk about this.
Right. Well,
We don't have that in-person experience anymore.
Right.
Not like we used to. But we still had that experience of, you know, me sending you a text, hey, dude, have you seen this movie yet? Cool, what did you think of this? And then, you know, we inevitably talk about it on the podcast or get together and play a game and shoot the shit.
You know, playing games and being on Discord or something like
Yep.
that and talking. Or, you know, it would be like when we watched, you know, Wonder Woman 84 and we cried together because of how awful that movie is.
Again, we want to stipulate, we both really liked the first Wonder Woman film. We were both really excited about 84. Because, it was the 80s, which, if you guys haven't seen our 80s episode, we like the 80s. So we were both really excited about it, and then we had that unfortunate experience of being in person. That wasn't the bad part. The bad part was us going, dude, that wasn't good.
Right. It's
I mean,
basically
I've definitely seen worse films.
Oh, sure,
I've
sure.
seen lots worse
Sure.
films.
I mean, a lot of them are generally UA Bowl films.
You get to see me push the button now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I generally equate that experience to like, you know, going up to meet, you know, like your childhood hero, like going up and seeing like Barney the dinosaur, and then
I like how that's where you went.
Well, I mean, it's the first thing popping up. Okay, meeting Big Bird.
Mark Hamill.
No,
Those
yeah,
childhood.
childhood, you know, like going up and meeting Big Bird.
Okay.
And then the first thing he does is kick you in the nuts.
I mean,
that was the experience
Yeah.
with Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Anyway, content delivery. Trying to circle the wagon, like we really went.
How do we go from
we
Big
really-
Bird, Wonder Woman? We went from content delivery to Wonder Woman to Big Bird kicking us in the nuts.
Yeah, we really had to. We really came. We went around the.
We didn't go full circle on that. We went that way in a straight line for 10 miles. Ian.
Right, and we managed to hit the stratosphere before Richard Branson did. So it's Richard Branson's going to be flying into space.
Well, I know, because he's rich and has nothing better to do with his life.
Well, yeah. I mean, he owns an island.
I mean, Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Richard Branson.
Anyway, so the day one delivery is great.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna, and it's streaming services out there are gonna continue to evolve, and I just
And
think
there's going
about
to be more of them.
right. There's gonna be, which is unfortunate because I personally think the market is saturated right now.
Yeah, there
The
are
only-
too many options at this point. I mean, we kind of talked on this last episode, but it used to be, and I again said this last episode, used to be, drop your cable box, get, these streaming services is all you need. And now it's like, well, it's going to be cheaper for me to get cable than it is to go, HBO Max, Disney Plus, all, everything else. But I mean, that's why, like me personally, I only have a few streaming services that I actually pay out of pocket for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do agree that it is getting a little oversaturated.
I mean, because I think
But
we
it's
mentioned
nice
them-
to have you have you don't have to get all of them though.
Yeah, sure.
If you like, for me, I've got my Disney Plus, which has my Hulu with it. I have HBO Max. Thank you. And then Crunchyroll is what I have.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I want to, I could drop Crunchyroll and get Funimation, or I could drop, Crunchyroll's the only one that I actually have to pay for. So the other ones are all included with like my phone plan and whatnot.
Yeah,
but, like,
and the
I could
Funimation
get
Crunchyroll
Netflix.
thing maybe a moot point if they ever get around to finishing their merger.
Those of you that are not watching the YouTube, Ian is very angrily glaring right now. Yeah, like I forgot about their merger. I mean, but like that I think is a good thing because one, it's more content in one place.
Yeah.
You don't have to have two different services.
And that's where I
Yeah.
think Crunchyroll does something really good right now, where they have a service called VRV or Verve.
I looked into. I think it is Verve.
I think so. I think
During my extensive 30 seconds on Google, of
right.
research.
I refer to it as VRV because it's just easier.
Right.
VRV or Verve, which is I think a service that Crunchyroll bought. I don't believe it was originally theirs, but
yeah,
it is
I think
now.
it was its own like standalone
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
But they provide content. They like all of Crunchyroll stuff is on Verve, as well as Crunchyroll's own website.
Yep.
They've also partnered with Rooster Teeth,
Yep.
Mondo TV,
A lot of
Crunchyroll Originals. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Crunchyroll. VRV Originals is on there.
Including the wonderful Harmon Quest.
Yes.
We are not sponsored by Dan Harmon, although I would love to be. Watch Harmon Quest if you have Verve.
Yes.
It is, especially if you are a tabletop fan, it is 100% worth watching. If you're a Dan Harmon fan, it's 100% worth
Right.
watching.
And then they also have partnered with High Dive, which is another anime streaming service. So not all of High Dive's library is on VRV.
Yeah.
They've had to do some like converting in order to get it on VRV, but they
Okay.
do have a lot of stuff on there. But I pay for a VRV Verve subscription. It includes Crunchyroll Premium, so I could just go and watch stuff on Crunchyroll.
Right.
So where I'm getting with this is though, I feel like there needs to be more partnerships in streaming services that are bundled almost like cable packages.
Ooh.
Because
That's not a bad idea, actually. Like have a cartoon pack, which will have like Funimation / Crunchyroll, Disney Plus, then maybe some other network that has a lot of cartoons on it. Do the I don't want to call it the adults package because that sounds like an entirely different thing. But maybe a package that has like HBO Max, Paramount Plus,
Skinemax.
and do they have a streaming service? Cinemax? Is Cinemax even a thing anymore?
Yeah, it is. I think they.
I
No,
thought-
I think they do. It's Cinemax Plus.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not even. I'm
Oh
not
my
kidding
god.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody.
didn't HBO buy them, or am I thinking of something else?
I think
It's
you
like
might be right.
Cinemax and HBO, like back in the day, used to be like those were the direct competition to one another.
Yeah, and then
Then
there was-
HBO just kind of went whoop,
Yeah. No. Yeah, like having
like a package deal.
having like a streaming package.
well, I mean,
would be,
and Disney Plus already kind of does that because if you buy Disney Plus, you get Hulu and ESPN Plus,
right.
which
but
I mean, I only use 2 of those. Take a pick which.
He's a big sports ball fan.
Oh yeah, I love sports ball. I got a hole in one at the hockey rink the other day. Goal!
Exactly.
But if my dad ever hears this, he's gonna disown me.
He hasn't yet.
I know, right? I'm still trying to figure out. I've been winging it for 30 plus years, buddy. But no, yeah, like I agree with you. I think like more, like not even necessarily package deals, but more like partnerships.
Yeah.
Like hey, buy a month of us, get a month of this service for free. Try it out, and the first taste is free, as they say.
Right. And that's the thing with why I'm eagerly awaiting the Crunchyroll Funimation merger, because I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to merge their content,
Mm-hmm.
but they'd be dumb to drop Verve.
Yeah, they would.
But what I think they do is they wind up merging their content.
Mm-hmm.
They have that streaming platform and still do the part with like the Verve partnerships that they have with like High Dive.
Yeah.
But you wind up paying a higher price than you do now.
Yeah.
But it's still lower than having both
Than
services
piecemealing
at the
it.
same time. Like
That could be
it's
like
cheaper-
buy it as a bundle, save like $3.
Right. You save like 15-20% if you have
Yeah.
this bundle pack. So you could have something like HBO Max and Paramount Plus as a package. Like you don't pay the full price for both of them. You pay basically a reduced price for each of them, but it's a package deal, which to me makes sense because
sense,
you
yeah.
increase. I realize that you're competing with each other, but you increase your potential market penetration.
Was especially like from a business standpoint, like I might go and get HBO Max in this example, and have no interest in Paramount Plus, but it's like, oh well, for $5 more, I can get Paramount Plus on this. I'll go ahead and subscribe to it, and get this package deal. They just gain a subscriber because I may not have been like. Truthfully, I don't really know enough of what's on Paramount Plus to know about it. But if I
SpongeBob, surprisingly,
that makes sense.
actually, a lot of Nickelodeon stuff.
I was
is
gonna
on
say,
Paramount.
I know Star Trek. Some of it's on there because I've heard somebody
CBS
talk about
also
it.
has a
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
CBS also has a
But
streaming service.
but no, like it may be
Anyway.
but it may be one of those that I may not have subscribed to that particular streaming service at full price. But I mean, you know how it is. Like, oh well, if I spend $3 more, I can get this thing for free with it.
Right.
And
what I think
who
if they-
hasn't done that for something that's on sale?
Right, and what I think they could do is they could also offer a premium price
Okay.
to. It's kind of like Hulu, actually, where
Yeah.
you have ads. Whatever.
I mean, like honestly, like I have the ad version of Hulu. But I get it for free, so I really am not complaining about the fact that I have to watch a couple commercials because I don't pay for Hulu. It comes with my Disney Plus.
What I think they should do is that it should be non-interruptive ads. So
Okay.
like, especially when it's streaming content that was not meant to be broken up by commercial
Yeah.
breaks, like non-network television shows.
Mhm.
What they should do is they should basically start the episode with 2 minutes and 30 seconds of commercials and say,
Right.
once
To watch your upcoming film, enjoy to enjoy your feature film, please watch these upcoming advertisements or
Correct.
however you want to word it.
right,
Yeah.
watch these advertisements and then
And make them non-skippable.
non-skippable, and then you can watch your show in its entirety and you're good. Like 2 minutes and 30 seconds is not going to kill anybody.
I mean,
like,
let's be honest. Most people are probably going to get up and go.
I mean,
finish
unless you
making
hold
their
your
popcorn.
breath for 2 minutes and 30
Right.
seconds.
But I mean, let's be honest. Most people are probably going to get up, finish making their popcorn and whatnot. Get their refreshments, and come back to watch the tail end of it. But it's a fact that there's still going to be people that they already are ready to watch the film. They're already sitting down. They're going to sit through those advertisements and be able to watch the movie uninterrupted. Those advertisers have paid for their advertising time.
right, exactly.
But you know that there's going to be some advertiser who uses my exact point of, what's to stop people from getting up? Well, look at Hulu. That has ads in it, and advertisers don't really complain about, well, what if somebody, gets up during the commercials, or what if they're talking about their movie in that commercial? You still have the potential of getting somebody to go, hey, I really like this particular product here, because they happen to overhear it while they were talking about
Right.
whatever during the commercials. So
I mean,
I don't think it's going to be a big deal for advertisers.
no.
And I don't think it's going to be a negative deal for them.
No, and subconsciously your brain is still going to pick up on these
Oh,
things, and then
absolutely.
2 days later you're going to be walking through the store and you go, "Oh yeah,
I remember.
I know. Like this sounds really familiar, and I think I remember something about it. Let me try this thing."
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's a very subconscious thing. Like it's amazing actually how much your senses pick up that you don't even.
I
know.
do that a lot with cereals, to be honest. Like, there's a few cereals that I am hardcore. I will always enjoy, but I will see a commercial on some cereal and go, "Oh, that looks really good. I'm gonna buy some of that next," and I'll do it just from a commercial.
Right.
So, cereal companies, since I know you're listening, I will shill for you. I love cereal. It is like, I'm one of those people that, I know I'm getting way off topic here. I'm one of those people that I love breakfast food in general, any time of the day.
Yeah.
Breakfast can be for any meal. I don't care. I will often have a bowl of cereal for supper. I'm not. It's a comfort food for me. I like cereal.
That's fine. I'm not knocking cereal. I'm not as big of a fan of cereal.
Right.
Like I'm more of like a bacon, eggs, and hash brown kind of guy. Like I like hot.
You're a hot breakfast. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a hot breakfast kind of guy. I don't like. I love Frosted Flakes, and
That's one of my go-tos.
Yeah, I love Frosted Flakes. I love Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yep.
I
How do you feel about Captain Crunch?
so long as it doesn't cut the roof of your mouth, it's fantastic.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Um,
I was ready to just push you off camera and go, all right, this is my show now.
Captain Crunch Berries
With crunch, yes,
Yes,
you
Cap-
crunch
has to
berries.
be-
Has to be crunch berries. Yeah.
has to be.
What about Oops All Berries?
That's good. Both
Good as an occasional.
good as an occasional.
Okay. All right. This podcast is now about cereal.
But one of the things that just my kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
I can't stand it with milk.
Really?
Yeah, I think it just like ruins it for me.
So
like I have
you'll eat it dry.
Yeah, I'll eat it dry.
You're a monster.
I know. I am.
Now Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that is one of the few. Like most of this, like Frosted Flakes. I will buy the generic of Frosted Flakes. It's kind of hard to mess up Frosted Flakes. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the only cereal I can think of that I've come across anyway. Every single generic version of it, I'll be honest, tastes like cardboard. The name brand Cinnamon Toast Crunch is always fantastic. The off-brand always tastes like cardboard that somebody kind of put something sweet on.
Yeah.
Have you tried generic Cinnamon Toast?
I've,
Okay.
I've definitely
All right.
had like the
It's bad.
the the malto meal the malto
Yep.
meal cereal. Please don't sue us.
Yeah, no.
I've had those off-brand cereals and
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is always terrible as an off-brand. I have never had a good Cinnamon Toast Crunch off-brand.
I'm kind of more of a purist these. Well, I mean, I shop a lot at Costco, and
Right.
they don't carry the off-brands, but they carry like big boxes of the name
Right.
brand stuff. So
They're, what's Costco's brand?
Kirkland.
Kirkland. Do they make Kirkland cereals?
No, not
Okay.
really. I think they have some things like hot cereals, like oatmeal,
Kirkland oatmeal. Okay.
those kind of things, but they don't have like their own brand of cereal.
Gotcha. Okay.
yet.
Okay. Yeah. Give it time.
So anyway,
Give it time, Costco. We love you.
going back to streaming services now. Ooh, can you do? That'd be a fun thing. Streaming cereals.
Okay, we're getting into like Star Trek replicator tech now.
Right, yeah.
I would like to stream this Captain Crunch.
Directly into my mouth.
Are we not doing phrasing, Ian?
No. But content delivery, I kind of jump back. I'm thinking like future now, and
Yeah.
I jump back to an early episode of Futurama where like they literally beam the show into your head.
Yep.
Like I want to watch Mork and Mindy. Beep. That's not how you use a chair.
Yep.
That's literally the line from the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
show. So, but it's just like
That I mean, you're talking. That's far future tech, but
well,
still,
1,000 years in the future.
Well,
Future.
if you're being technical, yes, it's Futurama, Ian. I know. See, like, okay, here's my take on it. Like, you know, going back to the future delivery thing, and we talk about like the safety of it. If I have to get something implanted, that's where I think I would be apprehensive, because I don't like surgery to begin with. And if my brain TV chip messes up, I don't want to have to go through it again to get that one removed and
Yeah.
another one installed. I don't like surgery. I don't like going to hospitals. It's not a pleasant time for me. But if it's something like, again, we reference Sword Art a lot. If it's something like Sword Art style, where I'm just putting on a headset and it's, just reading neural impulses without the need for any
Yeah.
augmentations of myself, don't get me wrong, I like the idea, I like the idea of a cyberpunk style world. I like that. I don't think I'd be able to go under the knife to get anything like that unless it was absolutely medically necessary. But I do like the idea of like deep dive stuff, like Sword Art style neural reading headsets.
What about nanotech? I mean, you already got your
That's-
5G shot. So did I.
Okay, like nanotech, like at least the way it's been portrayed in science fiction, it's it's a shot. It's a little bauble that you carry in your pocket, and the nanites come out of that. That I think I would be okay with that, because there's no surgery involved typically. But if they have to cut open my arm to implant implant the antenna for the new TV channels in here, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. I don't like surgery.
That's fair. I mean, admittedly, I'm.
Well, I mean, and again, you have multiple tattoos. I have none.
Yeah. And admittedly, like when technology advances to the point that they can replace my eyes with ones that work, guess what I'm going to sign up for?
Like something like that. Like if it was a matter of Tim, you're going to go blind tomorrow, or we can give you robot eyes. I would get the robot eyes.
No, I don't even have to go.
It's
I don't even have to go
necessary.
blind. I don't even have to go blind tomorrow. Like I'm getting.
I'm getting me some robot eyes.
I wearing glasses. Like I have to have. You guys may not be able to see it, but my glasses are super thick.
They're pretty thick.
I have to have prisms in my lenses because I have really crappy eyes.
Well, and
it
admittedly,
makes me,
when I don't have my contacts, mine are the same way. Like,
yeah.
I don't like seeing the world with a box around it, which is the only reason I have contacts. But yeah, mine are about like that too. It sucks.
The prism in my lenses actually, and I have astigmatism and things like that, but it actually invalidates me from getting LASIK. So I can't, like, I've done consulting on LASIK, and they're like, you've got prism. Well, we can do it, and it'll probably work for a little while, but then your eyes are eventually going to.
You're going to be back to where you are now.
Yeah, they're going to go. They're eventually going to go back to doing the things they're doing now, which is not
which
what I want.
sucks.
Yes. Anyway, so
it defeats the whole point of getting the LASIK.
Yeah, exactly. Now, maybe they're working on like AR contact lenses where you can augmented reality contact lenses.
That I would still be cool. Obviously, I already have contacts. I would be perfectly cool with that.
Yeah, I would be happy. Like I could still wear my glasses and then have those AR contacts.
Like, well, I mean, because they already now make non-prescription contacts. Like if you want to change the color of your eyes or whatnot.
Right. Cosplayers do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I imagine like if they did like AR contact lenses, they would probably come out with a non-prescription strength one as well.
I think I even remember years ago that. They actually did develop one, and it was biologically powered. So like
really,
your bioenergy from just being on your eyeball was enough juice for it to.
Like I imagine it'd probably like go off maybe like like the body heat that you give off.
I don't remember.
Well, I mean, you could
works.
even if it's on your eyes, have it kinetically powered. Because I mean, like even right now, you and I are looking at each other.
Yeah.
Looking longingly into each other's eyes, and like your eyes have subtle movements. Like even that, your eyes are moving all the time, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but you could even do like kinetic movement off of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Elon Musk, if you're listening, call us.
Yeah. The human body is a mobile battery.
Look at the Matrix. Now, I mean, granted, like they did the science on it, and like the amount of that kind of power that your body puts out is like equivalent to like a D-cell battery.
Right.
But I mean, still, yeah, I mean, like our bodies just are constantly burning and exuding energy. It's nuts.
Exactly. So there's all kinds of ways that content can get to you, and I think
absolutely.
ways that we could. And I'm really excited about the future of content delivery. Because I just want to see where the technology goes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I mean, like you and I have been kind of like throwing out our ideas of, this would be cool, or what if this happened? We might both be completely wrong,
Yeah, you never know. I mean, maybe they actually will just replace my eyeballs with adverts or something like that. Like, I have to pay a subscription every month in order to see.
You know what's going to happen.
Well, probably,
To purchase 20/20 vision, please pay $6.99 or watch this ad.
Well, I mean, what was that? Was it? I think it was a Forrest Whitaker movie from years ago, Repo Men, where like people buy.
You say Repo Men, and I think Repo the Genetic Opera, which is entirely different.
No, maybe it was just called Repo. I don't remember, but basically, like people take out like they get like organ transplants.
Yeah.
And if they miss their payments, these guys like show up and remove your kidney.
Okay, that is the exact plot of Repo the Genetic Opera. Maybe I didn't know that those were two things, because Forrest Whitaker was definitely not in the Repo. Really, really good musical if you haven't seen it, by the way. Very, very visceral.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, man, now you got me thinking, like, okay, well, I can lease these new eyeballs from company A here, but if you miss a payment, like if you've got a car payment, you miss your car payment, they take your car. If you've got payments on your eyes, is there a statute on if they can?
You can keep the eyes. They're just not gonna like.
They just shut them off.
They just,
you will be blind.
You wake up one day and you literally can't see.
It's like not paying your power bill. It's just you're in the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Except it's everywhere.
Ding. Yeah. So.
God, now you got me afraid of the future again.
we were excited before, and now
they're gonna take my eyes.
Government came and took my baby.
They took my eyes. What? Sorry, hang on. I didn't pay my ear bill.
Yeah, how do you call into how do you call in to pay your bill after that happens?
If you don't, oh God, you have to do it online. I just hope you don't lose your ear and your eye bill.
Yeah,
but
no,
I mean,
you have to do it with God. What if it was a package deal?
and that's where the bundles come in. Well, I mean, but I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, there are still, deaf and blind people, sometimes both, who are still able to fully function and do their things. It'd be like, for somebody like you and I to lose a sense like that, or multiple senses like that, like, we wouldn't know how to do anything right away. There's people out there who were born deaf, born blind, or again, both, who they've had their whole lives to figure out how to operate in a world without sense, without hearing, without smell, taste, whatever is feeling, whatever sense they're missing. If you just, I like how we've gone from media delivery to cyber tech. If you lost multiple senses on a package deal because you didn't pay your bill,
I mean, there would have to be a lot of government
legality
intervention and legality and government interventions and things like that. Where
that's both exciting and terrifying.
In all honesty, it's probably going to wind up being one of those things where it's it's either like you sign up for it and your wages are garnished in order,
right?
It's just automatically done, or you have to do it as a large capital expenditure,
like
you pay
a
for
large
it
upfront, like you pay for the first 2 years.
Yeah, or something like like it murders your credit if you if you don't do that. Like it's just like it basically makes you ineligible for anything
for future leases through them until you've paid off.
Right.
And recovered your credit. See, that would be the way I would want it done, not, oh, my eyes are off today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there would have to be protection.
Imagine if they're internet enabled and the internet goes out.
Well, I mean,
you wouldn't see the ads anymore. At least so there'd be that benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that point, wouldn't it be like the blind leading the deaf?
Maybe.
But I mean, we're in this day and age where Daddy Elon's working on his Starlink.
Internet.
Yeah, Starlink. So accessible internet is probably not going to be a thing.
I'd say give it another 10 years, and I mean with what he's doing with Starlink, with some of the proposals for rebuilding the U.S.'s internet infrastructure. Which, I mean, our internet infrastructure sucks in this country. I'll be the first to say it. I won't be the first to say it.
We still have coverage. We still have a lot of coverage.
Well,
but
there's still some places where you can't get internet at all.
Yeah, I know.
Or dial-up is your only option. Or
right.
Satellite-based internet, which, if it's short-range dish-based internet, that, I had that at my old house. That works. But, past tech, satellite-based internet is not great.
No, my parents had that crappy satellite-based internet for a long time. They went from that to fiber.
Yeah, a little bit of an upgrade. Smidgen.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's potentially really cool ways that content delivery could go. I think, again, Tim and I are just kind of speculating here. We have no idea. We're just kind of reading the tea leaves and hoping for the best.
Right. I mean, we're not, cutting edge tech engineers on the side. One of us is a programmer, and I'll let you pick which one. I just push the buttons on this show, literally. But I mean, it's fun for things like this to speculate, especially, I mean, like you and I are big movie fans. We like consuming media of all kinds. So it is interesting to kind of speculate, or it's fun to speculate on where these kind of things would go. But it's on one hand, it'd be like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if we called it. But on the other hand, if there might be something even cooler that we can't even think of right now, that somebody's brainstorming in their basement right now, going, who can I pitch this idea to?
Hopefully they're not experimenting on hamsters in order to figure out how it will work.
I mean, beaming directly into a hamster's brain.
I just imagine that poor thing is like its head just exploding.
It's all
it's all done through microwaves, and it's just congratulations, you can watch all your favorite shows. You now have cancer.
You can only watch them. That's a trick you can only do once.
Exactly.
So.
Well, on that.
On that disturbing note of exploding hamsters.
Right, on that terrible disappointment. I think that'll actually do it for us tonight.
We went way off the rails on this one.
Yeah, this one has meandered more than the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
But
Again, it's always fun to speculate on the future of nerdy stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
technology is something that, like, okay, case in point, even today, I had to explain a week or two ago to an Amish man at work that the Wi-Fi router that they installed at work is not a camera watching him. And he goes, well, what's a Wi-Fi router? And try to explain the internet to a late 50s, early 60s-year-old Amish man.
Who's not more technologically advanced than 1844.
Yeah, and like, the way I finally got him to understand what it was, because he thought it was a camera, and he was refusing to work up in his area until they took the camera down. And they're like, Tim, you're the tech guy. Yeah. Help us out here. I eventually explained it. I said, okay, does your grandson have a phone? And he goes, yes. I said, okay, if somebody in the plant has a phone, it makes it go faster. Makes it work. I know that's way off base, but that's the best I could come up with. He goes, oh, so it's not a camera. I said, no, it's not a camera. Oh, well, I guess it's okay then. But like the point I was trying to make is, even in our lives, technology has made leaps and bounds. You know, going back to our prior episode, we grew up with VHSs, which at the time were nothing could get better than that. And I moved into DVDs, nothing could get better than that. Getting into Blu-rays, nothing could get better than that. Not 4K Blu-ray. I mean, you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
This is just in. I mean, because Blu-rays have been out for quite a while now, so we'll say within 25 years.
Yeah.
Just media in general, the technology for that has come leaps and bounds. Internet speeds have come leaps and bounds. Like my first internet connection was a 16K connection. That's obscenely low. Like, by today's standards, you can't even do most things on a dial-up connection that slow.
Yeah.
You know, try to stream a movie on that, and it's going to take you a while.
Yeah, and I mean,
I do not miss those days.
It's not just like connection speeds, it's just technology in general. I mean, when I was born, my grandmother still had a rotary dial phone.
Yep.
I mean, she had a rotary dial phone because she just had one. She was old. I mean, they still had touchtone, they had touchtone dial phones, but
Yeah.
it was hardwired.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have a phone jack in your house.
Nanny had one for the only reason she finally got a different one is the dial on it. You could only turn it up to 4, I think, as far as you can go, and it physically would not. You could turn it past that, it just wouldn't dial any of the numbers past that.
Okay.
If you guys don't know what a rotary phone is, look it up. They're actually a really cool piece of like old school tech.
Yeah. So I mean, we had land, hard-lined land-based touchtone phones, dialed, rotary dial, pulse dial phones.
Yep.
Do you remember the some of the earlier phones when you could switch it between pulse dial and touchtone dial?
I never had one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
it actually had like a button on it, and you push the button and it go
Yep.
every time you push one of the buttons,
Yep.
rather than going beep boop.
And playing the tone for that number.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
Because some services that you called in for, you either had to do it pulse dial or tone dial. Yep. I remember that. Yep.
Now we have literally a computer in our pocket.
Yeah. Like, I
that
mean,
we occasionally
easily
make phone calls on.
Exactly. Like, easily, I would say my phone, I can say with utmost confidence, is more powerful than my very first computer.
Oh yeah,
Easily.
absolutely.
Yep.
Easily. It has probably.
Has so much more memory than my original.
I mean, I think my phone I think has a 128 gig available memory.
Yeah.
Again, my first computer had 500 meg.
Exactly.
Like it's not just.
Well, it's
not,
not even talking about the processor either.
Oh, yeah,
it's,
no,
it's
no.
nuts. So it's. I mean, in just a short amount of time, technology has come so far in the way that we consume and experience different forms of media that it is exciting to know, or it's exciting to not know what's going to be next.
Yep. I would agree.
That's my 2 cents.
I think that'll do it for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining us. Can't tell you what we're going to do next week yet because we haven't thought that far ahead. We didn't do it. We're not going to do a 3-parter.
No.
So, but
I mean, we might do a part 3 in like 10 years.
Oh yeah. Well,
We'll call back to that.
we'll come back. Back in my day when we were doing the podcast, not on on holograms.
I was gonna say, yeah. When you watch part 3 of this on your Instant Brain hologram available via Netflix,
Right. Crap, we didn't even talk about holograms.
I know. Crap.
Well, damn it, now we do have to do a part 3.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, anyway. So, thank you for joining us again. Our usual shtick. We are Non Sequitur Nerds. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at Non Sequitur Nerd. Find us on Facebook, where we're probably our most active.
Yep.
Our website, which hasn't been updated in months. Sorry, not sorry. It's a lot of work.
I mean, literally, here's what you need to know about the website. We occasionally put on there when new episodes are up, and we tell you where to listen.
Exactly.
Pretty much all you need to know is where to listen. Just
Yep.
check that section out on our website.
Yep. And a big thank you to our hosting platform, Anchor.fm.
Yep. Thank you, Anchor.
Where they host the audio-only podcast that is also then distributed out to other podcast streaming services, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
We didn't even talk about podcasts.
No, we didn't.
I mean, we're on one, so
Right.
I mean,
it'd be kind of meta.
yeah.
The
podcast.
Right, it's a podcast. Anyway, that actually might be another business venture for us. It's a podcast
talking
about podcasts.
I'm sure somebody's done
I'm
that.
sure probably.
I'm sure somebody's done that.
Yeah, anyway.
If you are a podcast that talks about podcasts, please send us a message. We would love to have you talk about us.
Yes, exactly.
We are ask us about our narcissism.
Yeah. But as we all know, The Simpsons probably did it first.
I mean, probably. They usually predict the future.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have watched Simpsons to prepare for this.
We really should have. Maybe that'll be our future episode. Is
An
just
episode talking about Simpsons. I'm okay with that. Yeah. All right.
So anyway,
Listen to us on various platforms.
yeah, exactly. So thank you again, folks, for joining us. For Non Sequitur Nerds, I'm Ian.
I'm Tim, and you know what? We will see you guys later. Have a good one.